The government stressed that the executive has no legal right to withdraw or resubmit the draft budget once it has been formally submitted, as the CDC has suggested. The government stressed that the executive has no legal right to withdraw or resubmit the draft budget once it has been formally submitted, as the CDC has suggested. The statement also addressed the CDC attack on the debt servicing component of the fiscal year 2026 budget, noting that the opposition party is attempting to distort the facts regarding Liberia's public debt. Citing reports from the General Auditing Commission, the government highlighted that the previous CDC administration engaged in unauthorized and unconstitutional borrowing, leaving behind irregular debts and repayment arrangements that violated financial procedures. Inspector General of Police Colonel Gregory Coleman has reaffirmed the Liberia National Police commitment to stronger bilateral cooperation with the Sierra Leone police in combating human trafficking, narcotics, and other forms of transnational crime. Speaking Wednesday during the high-level bilateral security meeting, Colonel Coleman described human trafficking as a grave violation of human rights that targets the most vulnerable. He stressed that trafficking destroys lives, destabilizes citizens, and erodes trust within communities, warning that the criminal network behind the practice remain active and increasingly sophisticated. Colonel Coleman noted that trafficking and narcotics operations are involving urging law enforcement officers of both countries to strengthen intelligence sharing, improve evidence-based investigation, and ensure airtight prosecution, and lauded the Sierra Leone police for its continued support, stating that Liberia remains committed to pursuing offenders of trafficking crimes. Colonel Coleman further highlighted the unique bond shared by the two vulnerable nations as poor world countries, saying their historic mass collaboration even more urgent in preventing instability in West Africa. The Commissioner of the Liberia Electricity Regulatory Authority, Amarat Khan, has reaffirmed the institutional commitment to advancing reliable and affordable electricity across the country, pledging strong support towards achieving the national energy target set for 2030. Speaking Wednesday during the public hearing in Monrovia, Commissioner Kamara said the LERC remains fully dedicated to meeting Liberia's 2030 goal of expanding electricity across that's access to at least 75% of the population. Camara noted that a vibrant and adequately resolved energy sector is a cornerstone of the arrest agenda, highlighting its role in boosting productivity, empowering communities, and supporting sectors such as education and health. He stressed that every decision taken by the LERC, including tariff adjustment, must be evidence-based, guided by public interest, and consistent with the country's long-term development priorities. The commissioner also reassured the public of stable electricity supplied during the dry season, noticing improvement in generation and distribution systems, and commended stakeholders for participating in the hearing and contributing to the national dialogue on energy sector reforms. The Director General of the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency, Fitzgerald Biago, has called officers of the agency to take full ownership of its policies and ensure their effective implementation, stressing that strong evidence-based policy is essential for driving institutional progress. Speaking Wednesday, November 19, during the official launch of the LDA Structured and Policy Review and Validation, Biago said the agency policy direction must be collective and validated and grounded in evidence to properly guide the institution in the years ahead. According to him, the revised policy framework will be identified that will help identify emerging challenges within the agency, address existing operational gaps, and integrate practical insights aimed at improving coordination and harmonization among all LDA sections and divisions. Bianco emphasized that well-designed policy inspires trust and promotes accountability, adding that such policy ultimately become tools for institutional transformation and improve service delivery. The LDA Director General also extended appreciation to the government of Liberia for providing financial support to ensure the successful launch and ongoing review of the agency's structure and policy framework. He further recognized the commitment and cooperation of LDA officers throughout the process, noting that their dedication plays a crucial role in strengthening national drug enforcement operations. The founders and incorporators of the United Blind Association has rejected a recently held secret election organized by Lahad Guttrod and the National Union of that's organizations, describing the process as illegitimate and unrepresentative of the association membership. According to the incorporators, the United Blind Association has already conducted two recognized elections, one in 2024 and another in 2025, both of which were monitored by the court, the police, and the National Union of Organization. On both occasions, Wilfred G1 emerged as the elected president, and these elections were widely regarded as free, fair, and transparent. The funders argued that the latest election, which was conducted outside the association headquarters, resulted in the declaration of former President Augustine Tobe, who has twice been defeated in previous poll. Speaking at the news conference in Monrovia, lead incorporated Peter Kanwan announced that the funders do not accept or recognize the result of the secret election. In called for calm and encourage peaceful dialogue to resolve the ongoing leadership dispute, and noting that the prolonged controversial continues to hinder the association progress. Conwan appealed to the public for cooperation as efforts continue towards an amicable resolution. Meanwhile, the association president Wilfred Giwan welcomed the founder's stance and reaffirmed his commitment to working in the best interest of the institution. He also urged Augustine Tobey to accept the incorporated decision and engage in dialogue for the sake of unity within the association. The national coordinators of the pro-democracy group Hinfoshi Crusaders Liberia, Tamar Johnson, is urging national stakeholders to prioritize male health, that's male mental health, arguing that doing so could significantly reduce cases of sexual and gender-based violence and domestic abuse. Speaking at a press conference in observance of International Men's Day, Johnson emphasized that the day should serve as a national reminder of the emotional, physical, and psychological challenges men experience, often suddenly and without proper support system, and attributed the rise in violence across homes, communities, and workplaces to the nation's failure to address male-specific mental and emotional health issues. Johnson believes that prioritizing men's mental well-being could help lower suicide rates and contribute to long-term peace-building efforts across Liberia. As Liberia joined the global community in commemorating International Men's Day 2025 on the theme Male Suicide in Fascist Crusaders, Liberia extended appreciation to all men and boys, recognizing their efforts in promoting peace and combating violence in society. However, local activists said government institutions, development partners, and families have not fully embraced the purpose of International Men's Day and observance intended to highlight the positive roles men and boys play in preventing gender based violence and advancing gender equality and equity. In the way from Liberia, the Kenyan authorities paid a network of trolls to threaten and intimidate young protesters during recent anti-government demonstration. The Amnesty International has said. A new report by the human rights organization said government agencies also employed surveillance and disinformation to attack organizers of the mass protest which swept Kenya across 2024 and 2025. The demonstrations were driven largely by GZ activists who use social media platforms to mobilize. In response to Amnesty report, Kenya's Interior Minister said the government does not sanction harassment or violence against any citizen. Well, the bureau does the news bulletin is now back to you for the continuation of Blaze News Point.
Many thanks to men. So many there for the news bulletin is a regular feature here on Blaze News Points. But just in case you just tune in, you're listening to 45 minutes of news, views, analysis from Liberia, Africa, and the rest of our global village stories we following this evening. Government of Liberia dismisses recent claims made by the Coalition for Democratic Change regarding the fiscal year 2026 national budget, describing the party's accession as misleading without legal foundation. Inspector General of Police Gorgwe Coleman reaffirms that the Liberia National Police commitment to stronger bilateral cooperation with the civilian police in combating human trafficking, narcotics, and other forms of transa- transactional crime. Amara Cornell, member of the Board of Commission at the Liberia Electricity Regulatory Commission, assures the public of the institution's commitment to advancing reliable and affordable electricity across the country and away from Liberia. Kenyan's authority paid a network of trolls to threaten and intimidate young protesters during recent anti-government demonstrations amidst international rivals. Still ahead, sports and voices making the news. We'll take a short break. To be right back. Welcome back and thanks for rejoining us. Inspector General of Police Kogwe Coleman has reaffirmed the Liberia National Police commitment to stronger bilateral cooperation with the civilian police in combating human trafficking, narcotics, substances, and other forms of transnational crimes. Speaking Wednesday during a high level bilateral security meeting, Coleman described human trafficking as a grave violation of human rights that targets the most vulnerable. He stressed that trafficking destroys lives, destabilizes families, and erodes trust within communities, warning that the criminal networks behind the practice remain active and increasingly sophisticated.
Human trafficking is a grave violation of human rights that targets the most vulnerable among us. It destroys lives, destabilizes families, and erodes societal trust. Our collective responsibility is to expose those trafficking networks, protect the victims, and bring the perpetrators to justice. That, by evidence, it's ongoing, and we want to say a big thank you to Sierra Leone. We have had issues in Liberia. We have sent a lot of them to court as well, and we're going after them. The parameters are changing. However, we as law enforcement officers have to be on them to ensure that we break them down and make the necessary arrests with proper evidence to be able to ensure successful prosecution. Let me be clear. Addressing narcotics and human trafficking is not only a policy priority, it is a moral duty that we have when we take on the responsibility of protecting lives and properties. The Liberia National Police and the Sierra Leone Police must stand shoulder to shoulder to ensure that criminal groups cannot exploit gaps between our borders or weaknesses within our system. Our partnerships take on an even greater meaning because of our shared history. Both Liberia and Sierra Leone have emerged from civil conflict, and we understand perhaps more than most the value of sustaining. It is precisely because of our past that we are committed to building resilient systems, one systems of cooperation that prevent any return of instability, not just within our both countries, but within sub-region and other parts of the world. We are as strong as our weakest link. Our responsibility to strengthen our systems and prevent spillover risk factors to other areas is not just a desire, it's a must as global citizens. As we confront today's globalized security landscape, we know that national response alone are insufficient. Effective prevention and response require integrated regional action. Human trafficking is a grave violation of human rights that targets the most vulnerable.
He lauded the Civilian Police for its continuous support, stating that Liberia remains committed to pursuing offenders of trafficking crimes. Coming further highlighted the unique bond shared by the two Mana River Union nations as post conflict countries, saying their history makes collaboration even more urgent in preventing instability in West Africa.
It is truly a privilege to stand before you today as a friend and partner from Liberia. We gather with a shared purpose to strengthen the bonds of cooperation and make both our nations safer, more resilient in the face of our common challenges. Our focus on mutual legal assistance is both timely and essential. The bureaucratic delays that sometimes hinder joint actions do not affect only our institution. To strengthen the criminals network we are working so hard to dismantle. By improving cooperation and breaking down these barriers, we reinforce our collective ability to prevent, detect, and respond to threats that do not respect borders. These threats are real and they're evolving on a daily basis. Transnational organized crime, illicit movement of narcotics, and the increasing flow of people, weapons, and goods from the Sahel continue to introduce complex security risk to our sub-region. As neighboring states within the Mano River Basin, our security is definitely intertwined. And that's why we are here to strengthen the cooperation. Through deeper collaboration, we protect our own communities while contributing to a more secure West Africa. Allow me to highlight two issues that require our shared urgent attention. One, the fight against narcotics. The illegal drug trade fuels violence, undermines governance, and erodes community well-being. It exploits our young people and feed criminal behavior. A united approach strengthened by intelligence sharing and coordinated enforcement is essential to disrupting these networks. We have different protocols in place, different systems that are active. However, we need to move beyond them to increase our direct relationship to deal with these networks and dismantle them totally. The second will be the issue of combating trafficking in person. Before I even go any further, I would like to extend sincere thanks to the Sierra Leone Police through the Inspector General. Yesterday, we reported a case of people who are being adopted and held somewhere here in Sierra Leone, the same QNet movement. It is true.
And that's the voice of Inspector General of Police of the Liberia National Police, Gogwe Coleman. The Director General of the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency, Fitzgerald Bygold, has called on officers of the agency to take full ownership of its policies and ensure their effective implementation, stressing that strong evidence-based policy is essential for driving institutional progress. Speaking Wednesday, November 19, during the official launch of the LDEA Structure and Policy Review and validation, Bigo said the agency's policies and direction must be collective, validated, and grounded in evidence to properly guide the institution in years ahead. According to him, the revised policy framework will help identify emerging challenges within the agency, address existing operational gaps, and integrate political and practical insights aimed at improving coordination and harmonization among all LDEA sections and divisions. Meanwhile, the LDA Director General also extended appreciation to the government of Liberia for providing financial support to ensure the successful launch and ongoing review of the agency's structure and framework policy. He further recognized the commitment and cooperation of the institution's officers throughout the process, noting that their dedication plays a crucial role in strengthening national drug enforcement operations. Well, sorry we can't bring you that clip, but we will definitely go back to it in subsequent broadcast. Today's other development. Bon County District 3 Representative Josiah Marvin Cole has accused the government of Liberia of undermining traditional cultural practices while allegedly protecting what he describes as the practice of homosexuality in the country. Speaking to journalists Wednesday in Bangabon County, Representative Cole criticized ongoing national discussions surrounding female genital mutilation and the Sunday Society, stating that bringing such issues to public platforms, including plenary of the legislature, is embarrassing. and to be unique and secure image of the nation's traditional norms. He emphasized the need for board consultations and traditional elders in those particularly in rural communities to gather feedback and avoid what he termed unilateral decisions by national government.
20. To the culture that all of us, our forebears, practice of the present. And I think this government and the Senator Moy said that this is a responsible government, but it's unfortunate, very responsible government is attacking the traditional practices of our country. And the tradition were openly discussed in section which I feel were very irresponsible. That section was presided over by the Unity Party Speaker, talking about female private issues. And I think it was disgraceful to our country. And that's why the Unity Party should not be given space in this country anymore, more especially when it comes to the participation of Senator Moy and other lawmakers from Bon County and other parts of the county to go from a traditional background. And you went to the Capitol building, sat down in section and discussed our women, our sisters, our girls and boys. We talk about them, I think it was disingenuous. So my role was to file a motion to come by and consult our traditional people because it was completely disrespectful to our tradition. And I know our president is a traditional president. If he had been coerced by international partners or whatever, he would not probably advised by people like Senator Moy, who said that the government is responsible. So we filed a motion, and that motion was passed that look, we need to go back and consult our people. Because when you talk about harmful practices, I don't know. But on the other hand, the government of Liberia honored Senator Moy and his president. They are telling us we should pass the gay rights so that men and men can sleep with each other. But you're telling me actually about our tradition. So my stand is if you want us to put forth to traditional practices, which I don't believe, we should also be able to pass the anti-gay law, which they are even refused for that bill to be placed on the floor. The Unity Party would have refused that. You heard the other day, Anthony Williams, he was frustrated and he said he did not know the reason why that bill was not placed on the agenda. It was on the agenda, they removed it. So it's a Unity Party. Look, let me tell you something. In this country, during the George Weah administration, the Unity Party ran a spell campaign against that government and said that George Weah was trying to legitimize gay rights. But now we have seen who is actually trying to legitimize gay rights. I have something in my phone which I will share with the journalists. Pastors have been arrested by this government. Our senator claimed to be responsible. Pastors have been arrested, placed behind bars for refusing to support the gay right. So he said, look, this Methodist church cannot be used as a foundation to legitimize same-sex marriage.
You just listened to Bon County District 3 Representative Josiah Marvin Cole. The Commissioner of the Liberia Electricity Regulatory Commission, Amara Kamara, has reaffirmed the institution's commitment to advancing reliable and affordable electricity across the country, pledging strong support towards achieving the national energy targets set for 2030. Speaking Wednesday during a public hearing in Monrovia, Commissioner Kamara said the LERC remains fully dedicated to meeting Liberia's 2030 goal of expanding electricity access to at least 75% of the population. Kamara noted that a vibrant and adequately resourced energy sector is a cornerstone of the arrest agenda, highlighting its role in boosting productivity, empowering communities, and supporting sectors such as education and health.
The Commission reaffirms its support to the National Grid, the Liberia Electricity Corporation, and all other service providers. That's the Jumbo Energy Power, LRB Energy, somewhere in the Southeast, Energy City in Bakuru, and somewhere in Kema, and others, in ensuring quality of service, operational efficiency, and expanded access to reliable electricity across Liberia. We want to recommit ourselves to achieving our target, the country's 2030 electricity target of achieving at least 75% national electricity access, or from the current 32% to 75%. Our work is firmly aligned with the National Development Agenda, the Arrest Agenda for Inclusive Development. A vibrant, efficient, and well-regulated energy sector is a cornerstone of that national vision. Because energy drives, as we saw today, productivity, powers communities, supports education and health, and fuels economic transformation. The Liberia Electricity Regulatory Commission remains unwavering in its mandate to ensure that every decision today, including tariff adjustments, is grounded in evidence, guided by public interest, and aligned with the nation's long-term our work. It shows that voices of citizens, communities, and partners inform the path forward. Let me assure you that all perspectives, questions, and recommendations presented during this hearing will be carefully reviewed as the Commission continues its evaluation of the LEC's proposal. This process does not end here today. It's a milestone in a broader journey toward reliable, affordable, and all accessible electricity for all of you. As we move ahead, I encourage you to remain engaged, hold us accountable, continue to speak, question, and contribute because an empowered public is the foundation of a strong regulatory environment. The community
The commissioner also reassured the public of stable electricity supply during the dry season, acknowledging improvements in generation and distribution systems. He commended stakeholders for participating in the hearing and contributing to the national dialogue on energy sector reforms.
electricity across the this process does not end here today. It's a milestone in a broader journey toward reliable, affordable, and all accessible electricity for all of you. As we move ahead, I encourage you to remain engaged, hold us accountable, continue to speak, question, and contribute because an empowered public is the foundation of a strong regulatory environment. Be assured, fellow Liberians, of a vibrant and effective services in this dry season and even beyond. Again, an effective services in this dry season and even beyond. We come to the close of today's public hearing. I want to express our deepest appreciation for all of you who dedicated your time, your insights, and your expertise to this important national exercise, the public hearing. Your engagement today is a clear demonstration that the future of our energy sector, electricity sector, is not the responsibility of one institution alone. It is our shared commitment. This process does not end here today. It's a milestone in a broader journey.
You just listened to the voice of the commissioner at the Liberia Electricity Regulatory Commission, Amara Kamara. Where at this juncture, we cross over to Stephen Tyler to bring us the passion of life sports.
The Liberia Football Association, through the Women's Football Department, will launch a nationwide festival for girls aged 6 to 12 to strengthen participation in school-based women's football. Madam Judy Red Seaton, Vice President of the Liberia Football Association, urges parents, school authorities, communities, and the nation to support the initiative. The theme is Empower Her, Inspire Greatness. The third vice president of Elfe Lima Monsuaro, Grand Cape Mount, Riverside, Bonka, and Sano counties are expected for the launching.
The Liberia Football Association, through its Women's Football Department, is launching its women's football campaign in 5 counties: Monserrado, Grand Cape Mount, Riverside, Bon, and Sino County. You don't want to miss this. But watch out. November 28th, the march will begin from 72nd Junction to the Japan Field. Sport lovers, parents, teachers, and every Liberian that loves women empowerment, come out and support your girls aged 6 to 12. If this is a school program to increase the participation of girls playing football and want to send a message that women's football is women empowerment, you don't want to miss it. Grab your t-shirts, grab your caps, because the legends will be there, both male and female. LFA Executive Committee, come and meet them. Stakeholders, players. Wow, I can't miss this for nothing. Empower her, inspire greatness. FIFA, like the World Football Association, capacity building is women empowerment and football development. I see you there.
Still in Liberia in the female category of the ongoing First Division Women Uppers League, Deconti Jackson's Breeze still winning for senior female professional. Full time is 2-0 in favor of them. And away from Liberia, on the African continent, the Confederation of African Football CAF for short is hosting its annual awards ceremony this Wednesday, honoring that's the brightest talent in African football for 2025. The event will spotlight the stars and teams who have today shined throughout the year, whether on the domestic, continental, or international stage. The ceremony is taking place at Mohammed 11 University in Rabat and will kick off at 7 o'clock local time in Morocco. Three finalists are vying for the African Player of the Year title. Afghan Hakimi, right back of Paris Saint-Germain, Mohamed Salah of Liverpool, star forward, and Victor Osimhen of Galatasaray, the prolific striker from Turkey of Nigeria. And that's the sports.
Thanks to Stephen Talu there for the Passion of Life. Sports is also a regular feature here on Blaze News Point. Let's bring you more development and back to this one. The Director General of the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency, Fijero Biago, has called on officers of the agency to take full ownership of its policies and ensure their effective implementation, stressing that strong, evidence based policy is essential for driving institutional progress. Speaking Wednesday, November 19, during the official launch of the LDH Structuring Policy Review and validation, he said the agency's policy direction must be collective, validated, and grounded in evidence to properly guide the institution in years ahead.
For the policy to be effective, it must be evidence based. It must include the needs of the institution, that few group of people, and also have learned with current day reality 9 years back. That is why we have come here today to collectively examine what we have, identify what must be changed, and validate what will guide us in the future. For the past few months, our technical working teams have worked diligently to conduct assessments, consult with stakeholders, gather data, and benchmark global best practice. I commend their dedication and professionalism, which have brought us to this stage. This session gave us a platform to reflect on emerging challenges and opportunities, ensure that policy address existing gaps, integrate practical insight into benefit, and strengthen coordination and harmonization among each section and division within the LDA. Build consensus and ownership for effective implementation. What we're going to discuss today, if you don't take ownership of it, and you don't build consensus among yourself to take effective ownership, it will become a mere papers laying out on the floor in the LDA headquarters. I urge each of you to partake fully, share your expertise, challenge ideas where necessary. Inclusive dialogue is a foundation of credible and sustainable policy development. As we proceed, let us remember that good policy does more than guide action. It inspires trust, it promotes accountability, and drives progress. When this policy is being validated by all of you sitting in the room, it becomes a tool for transformation. Let us reflect that as we develop this policy and we validate it, we are transforming the LDA. We are moving ahead. The Bible says all things are passed away, and now new things will take precedence in the LDA. I'm confident that by the end of today's deliberations, we will have a refined and validated policy that is robust, forward-looking, and implementable.
And that's the voice of the Director General at the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency, Fitzgerald Biakud. To this other development, the founder and incorporators of the United Blind Association have rejected a recent health secret election organized by Lahab Botoro and the National Union of Organizations describing the process as illegitimate and unrepresentative of the association's membership. According to the incorporators, the United Blind Association has already conducted two recognized elections, one in 2024 and another in 2025, both of which were monitored by the court, the police, and the National Union of Organizations. On both occasions, Wilfred G1 emerged as elected president, and these elections were widely regarded as free, fair, and transparent.
Over the period of time, the founders of Yuba, we can no longer sit and watch our vision and hard work go down the drain. In this regard, we as incorporators have come to take siege of the long-standing conflict within the association between the leadership and the aggrieved party. So therefore, we the founders of Yuba have taken over from the current leadership until said conflict is resolved through dialogue and not in court. In this light, we the founders of Yuba hereby inform the National Union of Organizations of Disabled NUO that the recent election held at NUO office in the name of Yuba is not accepted and recognized by the funders based on this following reason. A. That the two previous elections of November 23rd, 2024 and January 11, 2025 were observed by NUO and declared free, fair, and transparent. B. That the president of NUO and Lahagotoro single-handedly conducted a fair election without our involvement as funders to our other parties. C. That both of the funders in presence of Mr. Peter McCartney trying to resolve the matter by going to meet with the leadership of NUO on the 11th of November, but was not listened to. In so doing, we are calling on the general public to closely work with the funders as we anticipate a peaceful end to this crisis. Signed, Pastor George H. Ikoto, President of the New Leadership Cuba, approved Mr. Peter Marcanio having.
You just listen to the lead incorporated at the institution, Peter Canio. Let's take this last development because of time. The national coordinator of the pro democracy group He for She Crusader Liberia, Tamar Johnson, is urging national stakeholders to prioritize male mental health, urging that doing so will significantly reduce cases of sexual and gender based violence and domestic abuse. Speaking at a press conference in observance of International Men's Day, Johnson emphasized that the day should serve as a national reminder of the emotional, physical, and psychological challenges men experience often silently and without proper support systems.
Male mental health globally is one of the issues that is contributing to male declining and contributing to violence around the world. This year, as we celebrate International Men's Day, we are looking around and saying, what have men done over the times? We point out to many things that men have done. Men are becoming supportive to women. It is not like first men consider women as lesser person. Now men are supported in the homes. They are washing clothes. They are taking care of children. They are becoming supported. They are becoming fathers in the home. Should we celebrate that? Yes. Are we there? No. Are we where we were yesterday? No. Yes, we are not there yet, but we are not where we were yesterday. However, we are calling upon the government of Liberia to ensure that male mental health support is prioritized. Because if we don't prioritize the mental health of male, we know that gains over the years when it comes to the issue of the gender-based violence, it will continue to be on the increase. For instance, let us see, just a few days ago, a male committed suicide right in Montserrat County. Why? It's because he was overstressed. He never had nowhere to distress himself. And because he never had to distress himself, the only remedy to his stressfulness was to commit commit suicide. So male mental health is important. I will celebrate the International Men's Day because International Men's Day also cover all the things, all the issues that they are faced and confronted with. Now we are looking at the issues of men not being in school. We see so many of our brothers who are riding motorbikes and everything. Believe me or not, a few years from now, we will have many men coming down with cancer, and we will have issues that will make them incompatible or incompetent to become people that will bear children. Many people feel that when you talk about gender, you should look at only the weaker component of it, that is the women. But the question is, the entirety of gender is also. We are holding weight one sided, and the weight is becoming too weighty on one side, while the other is becoming weak. There will be an issue of it. So what I say in this thing is that we need to balance the issue. Because we say gender, we did not say women affairs. We say gender. So gender is inclusive. Men are also being violated. Do we know? Do we care? Many people don't care. Men are not speaking us simply because of what we call social norms and social orientation and society brain.
That's the voice of the national coordinator of the pro democracy group He for She Crusaders Liberia, Tamar Johnson. Well, with that development, this is how I would like to leave you on today's edition of the program Blaze News Point. But before we go, here are stories we followed. Government of Liberia dismisses recent claims made by the Coalition for Democratic Change regarding the fiscal year 2026 national budget, describing the party's section as misleading without legal foundation. Inspector General of Police Gregory Coleman reaffirmed said the Liberia National Police commitment to stronger bilateral cooperation with the civilian police in combating human trafficking, narcotics, and other forms of transnational crimes. Amara Kamara, member of the Board of Commissioner at the Liberia Electricity Regulatory Commission, assures the public of the institution's commitment to advancing reliable and affordable electricity across the country and away from Liberia. Kenya's authorities paid a network of trolls to threaten and intimidate young protesters during recent anti-government demonstrations amidst the international rivals. Many thanks to the entire news team, most especially to the news editor and director. Stephen Tayu brought you the passion of live sports. Edward Mendy brought you the voice, the news bulletin. Clifton Rennie sat coordinated and brought you voices making the news. My name is Deborah. I presented. Good evening and thanks for listening.